I love when he just hangs out. Which I guess he's not just hanging out, he's like guarding it. See, someone else comes if he shoos them away or what. But he might just be hanging. Hummy! Hummy! He's still just hanging out because his head's all sitting on his shoulders. I like him because he actually has shoulders smaller than mine. Oh my god. Oh Lord. Pardon. Wow. What am I doing now? Oh, there he is. Oh my god. Natural body function. Gurglation. See, this is what we do. We just sit around. This is meditating. Meditation. I think they weigh like as much as a quarter. Does that sound right? Maybe not even. And he has his little life. Which is awesome. Like that little next to weightless thing, and as small as he is, in my experience, birds, even when you're like in real life space with them up close, like super close, like closer than I am now. I'm like, I don't know, 6, 8 feet away. They are even smaller than they look from this distance. So as small as they are, they're even smaller than that. So I don't know, it just freaks me out that he has his little life. Freaks me out in a good way. One of the good freak out ways. And he knows me as much as I know him, and I know him to some meaningful way. So that's Like he knows what he's doing. He's not on autopilot. Instinctually, he is in his way, but I'm as much an instinctual knucklehead as he is, or as we think they are, is. But speaking of natural body function, his, not mine. I'm assuming it's a him. I can't really tell. I'm not wearing my glasses. But I thought I saw some fanciness. Yeah, of course he's like backlit, and obviously, so you're not getting his full. Part of this is meditation, but it's also kind of a workout too, because I'm like leaned over with my arm extended. So it comes as a workout. He's pretty content, though, it seems. How wonderful is that? Maybe the food is gunky. Maybe he's sitting there telling me, dude, change the food already. I better check that one at least. But he did. I don't know. Maybe I'm not meditating very well. Well, I am I don't know. Maybe you can tell it. There's like, I'm not even showing him. Where is it? I can see his coppery, I think, coppery, somewhat orangey coppery body, and I think it might be greeny on top. Is he gonna fly up my stand? Oh yeah, he's totally rusty, orange color. So what is that? Is that a rufus? Hummy! Hummy! Did you see him? He looked. Hummy! He's like staring right at me. Hummy! He's like, why didn't you stand up and get closer? He's like that. That's what he's like. This is how I like to bird. Not indoors, outdoors. I prefer birding outdoors. But where you can just like watch one particular being. And it kind of, I'm not wearing my glasses, but he totally looks like he's looking this way, so he's looking at, he looks pretty relaxed, so I don't think I'm terrorizing him. But he might be vibes in me as much as I'm vibes in him. Hummy! 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 Wow, man, he's just hanging. I'm right next to the, obviously, camera. So you're probably hearing them munching. Gum. Dum gum dum gum gum. Kind of surprised no one else is flying up. Though it's kind of funny, and I don't know. I mean, quite a few people have feeders, and I don't know if the hummingbirds like stake out particular ones, because there seems to be a lot of feeders, which kind of says there's a lot of hummingbirds all around. But oh, there's one out there on the, yep, that's funny. Off he went. I didn't capture that, but another, where'd it go? Another one landed on that right there, the bird of paradise leaf, which is like another 8 feet farther from the feeder. Landed on that and sat there for just a second, and that made the one here fly off. I'll give it I don't know, another 10 seconds or so to see if someone comes back. Oh, he is there. He's right there. Duh, he's not. I didn't even see him. I didn't see him show up. I don't know if that's the same one or the one that landed on the leaf, bird of paradise leaf. Totally can't get a good shot of him because he's around the side a little. So we garbled into the background, or not really visible. There he is. Hummy! I don't know if that's the same one though. I don't think it. it's not fair to tag team me with this meditation. His face looks darker though. I might be seeing things. Maybe if I change that. Ooh, that's better. Is he invisible now? Even visible, not invisible. Dude. Ah! I bent down to look up underneath him and he's like, what are you doing? You can't do that. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? He's totally looking over. Peeking up and over. Hummy! I'm not wearing my glasses, but I think I'm at 16 minutes. So that's chomp, chomp. How long can you hold your arm out? All right. Bonk. I don't even really know if it's showing up. I'm not wearing my glasses. Is that showing? Bonk. I don't know. I'm guessing it's the same one, but I don't really know. Oops. He's picking up over the... Piggy? Hummy! 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 I don't know how good their hearing is. I'm guessing it's pretty good since they do talk to each other. Wow, when they poop, they like really shoot poop. Ah, very cute. He just sidestepped. he just did like 10 little side steps to move around this way. I want to think it's so he could get a better look at me, but of course he wants to eat too, but he could have sidestepped the other way to eat. know if you picked that up though. The same way he flaps his wing, he sidestepped that way, like 10 little and moved him a half an inch. Bye bye. Bye bye. Actually, I think he just flew out to there. Actually. All right. And that nearly concludes this session of being one with whatever, which counts, no, being attempting to be non-attempting, well, whatever, like meditation, as I understand it. Oh, Lizzie's, Lizzie. Yep, you're Lizzie. Lizzie! Can't see. Because it's focusing on the screen, dang it. Yep, but there's Lizzie. What was I saying? My understanding of meditation is it's a total trying to not try to the point where you're not trying. To just be in the moment, non-moment. I didn't think that out very well, deeply. No, well, I thought that out very well, in that I didn't think it all that much, which is okay for a self, not definition, but non-definition of what meditation is to me. Where the hummingbird becomes as equally significant, non-significant as, in this case, me. So I like this thought, not to overthink it, which is fine if I do, that you can kind of meditate with non-with something, someone, some things, someone's else. Which actually is good because so like that the like right now I'm totally thinking about stuff, like what I'm thinking about, believe it or not, what I'm saying, but I'm also thinking about all other stuff. But all that other time, like the bulk of that, I don't think I was really thinking about anything. I mean, other than This is the, in my view, this is the good thing about meditation, from my view, is that ultimately it's not about explaining it. So it's not about, it's okay to explain it or try to. So all these meditation gurus and sales, whatever, meditate they're, it's okay that they do that, but even that's not what it's about. So it's a state, non-state of being, not being. So it's like everything cancels out and nothing cancels out, and it's just like, for me anyway, ultimately what it's all about. And now, of course, now I'm thinking about all sorts of stuff. Like how stupid cognitive behavioral therapy is. Acceptance commitment therapy is much better. Okay, class, we're all just going to sit here and do nothing. That's not me, teacher, you class. That's just a thought that came into my mind. Oh, he's back. And like that, where is he? He was back, and now he's gone. He, I keep saying he, and I think it is he because it's the fancy one, which is kind of funny. Like maybe, I don't know. But then I think I'm noticing this. The female one are, they aren't as fancy, which is common. I'm not, I sort of got it. I always feel like I'm perceived as a know-it-all, arrogant, and so like it's like I have no idea, really. I don't know shit. But from my point of view, I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, it seems like the male shows up more often. He's obviously tiny. But then boom, there's the female shows up, and like, I think I'm seeing this right. She's even tinier. So like, you get so used to seeing the male one that the scale, you know, they're tiny, but they don't but they're like tiny within their frame of reference. So you're in their frame of reference so that you're not seeing them as like tiny or slight or anything like that. Although obviously they're kind of next to weightless. But then the female shows up and she's like petite. She's like holy smokes. That wasn't a comment on females and petiteness. And or it wasn't an intentional comment, and if it wasn't meant in a negative way. I'm petite. No, actually I'm not petite. There's a definition for petite that I don't think I really know. I think it, like with women's clothes, petite, it doesn't mean necessarily skinny. So I'm probably using the wrong word for petite. I mean, the wrong word. Petite for what I was meaning. Dainty. Dainty, yes, that's what I am. I'm dainty. I'm not dainty. Small frame, ectomorphic. Someone called me lithe. But in my current physical screwed upness, I'm also freaking scrawny as hell. See, now all that calmness, oops. And now just let the thoughts come and go as they come and go. Notice but don't notice the little dark vertical line skittering around, dancing around the bottom, because I'm not holding still. But now, just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in through your nose, opening up the diaphragm. Let the bad attempted humor just wash past its only word. Let the thought just come and go. Breathe in and breathe out at your own pace. Try, but don't try to slow it down. try not to think about Sheryl Crow singing. All I want to do is have some fun on the thrift store, CD in the car, on a sunny Southern California day, blasting happily. Don't dismiss the mockiness you think you're hearing. It might not be that, but maybe it is. Actually, like in reality, all this calm, like meditated mood and all this, I think a lot of that is crap. It's like you, meaning me, strives more to be able to be in that state as much as possible, with not trying to, in any situation, so that it seems like, to me, that most meditation instruction or whatever is something like that comes across as like everything has to be calm, and everything's in this calm. You have to be in the calm state. Everything has to be slowed down. Which for me is like that's what does that have to do with reality? Yeah, if you can happen to be in that situation, it's a situation. All situations are situations, so it's not bad. But it's like, if that's what it's primarily singled out, like meditation is connected to calm context, quiet context, ideal, in quotes, context, and that's where you're trying to meditate and get and into a workable being in your all existence, and that's how it's taught, suggested, framed, sold, and that's supposed to be useful to the to the 99% of the time that is not that. I think I sound kind of angry or whatever. I'm not angry. It's funny to me, like so many things. Which I know I'm going to fall back on art class, art teaching, art and how bad an art class is if a student doesn't feel like they're an artist from the first session. All you gotta do is claim it, and you are it. It doesn't mean you're great at it, but art isn't supposed to not be about harming at all. So, man, if you can like claim, I'm going to try to be me and not harm, even if I'm not great at it, very good at it, or genius at it, I'm still good at it because what the heck, I'm trying to be me without doing harm. That doesn't come, and I that doesn't, same way with how meditation, what I was just saying about meditation, it's art classes it the same way. It's like, almost all of them are conform. Yeah, but learn this. Yeah, but do it this way. Yeah, but when ultimately the goal of it is, man, you're an artist. Figure it out. If you're totally lost and want some information, here it is. Here's as much of it as you want. But it's not me foisting that upon you. It's me there. To be your hummingbird. So that's, I mean, I totally rip on art teachers. I don't mean that personally to any of the art teachers that I actually know, which I'm guessing it comes across that way, but I really don't mean it that way. I've had tons of art classes and 2 degrees, and I'm not saying I'm knowledgeable about it. I just saying that I've been in a lot of art, like a variety, like not just one, not just I mean, art teacher stuff, and also my undergraduate is commercial art, so that's like, it's not art. That's a total oxymoron. Commercial art, it's design. So it's, I don't know, it just makes me sad. These, now I'm like, all these thoughts go through my mind. These shooters, they never had an art class. And I don't mean an art class, how most art classes are taught, like the conform 3 or 5 out of 30 students are going to be prima donna, get the attention. I'm saying an art class where everyone's equal. Everyone, you claim you're an artist, figure it out. I'm here. I'll be given information, but use it or don't use it how you want to or not. You're an artist right now. Figure it out. Here's the basic principles. It's not that difficult. Where was I going with that? Oh, these shooters, like they've never had what I'm saying a real art class is, like a class where you can go into and claim yourself to be an artist, meaning I'm me, and you can do this with other people. I mean, you want to do it with 2 people. We're an art team, whatever. The whole class can agree to be, we're an art class, like we're one art class. I don't mean class like the room. I mean class like we as a whole class of art students are an artist. I mean, you can do that as long as they're not harming and they're deciding ultimately everything about what they're doing. Perfectly fine with me. But I doubt if any of these shooters has been into any kind of class can be an art class if it's approached that way. But I doubt if any of these guys have ever been in a situation where they feel like they have, like they can do whatever they want, but get the message that they can't harm. It's like, here, I'm the teacher, you're in the class. It's a safe space for you to be an artist. That means you, as long as you're not harming, and we'll discuss what that means or doesn't mean, you can do whatever you want. Wait, what? I have total freedom and non-judgment as long as I'm not harming? It's okay, what? You mean it's okay to do that? Even though society and everything tells you it's not okay to do that? That sounds like I'm not defending shooters. I'm just saying they're freaking lost souls. I mean, you can't even become an you can't, probably for that matter, you can't even become a teacher unless you there are exceptions. I'm sure there are exceptions. Actually, I can think of exceptions, but I'm generalizing. But like vastly, the vast majority is you have to play the game. The system, that's everything is systems. You gotta figure out the system and play it if you want conventional acceptance, which means which conventional acceptance has nothing to do whatsoever about being an artist. This is, by definition, if it's conventional, it's not art. It's design. It's either design or crime. But it's not art. I guess it hypes me up because it's not, and I do know teachers who I mean, teaching it's a power position. It's a power position, and most teachers, like the vast majority of teachers, do not totally give over their power to the student. And I'm not saying let them run wild, because that will quickly or can quickly become harm. And so, yeah, the teacher has to make sure that there's not no harm. I mean, obviously no intentional harm, and then even unintentional harm. That's obviously, those are like one major issue with two parts that a teacher's responsible for. But, and especially, not just especially, but in an art class, that power, it's very rare that you see an art teacher whose ego is who's not in some way exercising their power over the art student. It's like the teacher's pride. It's not about the teacher's pride. I mean, Um, yeah, but the administration, yeah, but the parents, yeah, but this and that. I mean, that's a reality for a teacher, but if that's the crux of your teaching world, it's the student, period. It's the student. If you're the teacher, it's the student. It's each individual, unique student. So I'm not like specifically blaming particular teachers or saying this is the thing, the one and only thing, but these shooter knuckleheads, and I'm not an expert. I don't know. I'm just going by various ways, the situations I've seen. I can think of like just like the substitute teaching for 3 years in a terrible, especially terrible school district that's poor, and the students, there's no possible. There's no, I saw. I mean, I saw it. The students are not viewed as equals. They're students. At least that's my if ever, I probably won't teach again because I inadvertently burned every teaching bridge, and I've never intentionally done it, but it's probably gone for me. But I always felt and like committed to myself that if the student's there, as long as they're there and they're not harming, I mean, every student's going to harm in some way because it just might be unintentional. It might be subtle, little, silly stuff, whatever. So, I mean, that's a reality. But, I mean, like harm in the way where it's not obviously destructive, then the students are, as long as they're there, they're equal. The quote worst student is equal to the quote best student. And if the teacher can't reconcile that, that's not the student's problem, that's the teacher's problem. That hour of time or half hour time, even if it's crowded, all that, the teacher is responsible for it. Even if the administration sucks and there's no parental help or anything, if they're in the class, it's your class, they're all there, it's that amount of time, they're all equal. In value, in uniqueness. And if the teacher can't reconcile that or see that, that's the teacher's problem. The teacher needs to figure out a better way to be able to do that. You know? If it's overwhelming, simplify the problem. And I don't know why that irks me so much. I mean, I guess part of it's because part of it's because I guess I harbor some pissed offedness about how many bad teachers I had. Like, what a friggin' waste of time. Like all I guess through elementary school. I mean, you're that at that level of kid, you're just I don't know, you're at least I was just going all along. I mean, I kind of want to make everybody happy anyway, so I was just, as long as people are happy, I was just trying to help people be happy. But it got really frustrating in junior high school, and high school, because it was like, dude, everybody is conforming. And like I want to I didn't even care about grades, but I cared about grades totally because my parents cared about grades. So I really wanted to just get good grades so my parents would be happy. But I didn't care about grades, and I had that argument with my parents all the time. Grades don't matter, grades don't matter, grades don't matter. Yeah, but they're gonna matter. It's really important. So like that's all I concentrated on through like consciously through junior and high school was get good grades. So in that sense, I was like the perfect student. I was like never a troublemaker, always helping, always like invisible, like not too perfect to be noticeable for that, but like perfect enough to be like no problem to anyone ever in any way. But I commit. That's probably partly why I come across as. I guess I think I don't intend. I don't know. I think I guess different situations matter. Different situations. Yeah, so there's that. So like conforming for your parents, conforming for like years of like I think as an elementary school kid, I don't know. I was just like a happy, good-natured little kid. I mean, I was innocent. I was innocent, and that's like in my basic core is like in a way I'm still kind of that way. It's like so I was just like a happy little kid. But then, you get junior high and high school, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm like, conforming? Really? This is what my life is going to be, conforming? So, like, I literally had perfect attendance, not one single tardy. Like an A- student, so it's like you're not really noticed. You're not like that perfect A student, but I don't know, just like invisible. And also I was younger and smaller, and it's like, I'm not complaining about being invisible. More the overlay feeling of like, God, it's just like it's like conforming, like, and it's not even that the classes necessarily seem boring, because I don't really get bored, more of a feeling of like, this is it. Oh, and then another thing is that I'm a slow reader. So all my English classes, I thought they just totally sucked. Like that, they were it's like on those tests that you do in all the subjects and all that, I like would score in like the 90s, except for reading, I'd score in like the 60s. But it would be like I had only gotten 60% of the way through it, and I like comprehended and got the answers like 90 something percent correct and comprehended it. It's just I only got 60% of the way through it ever. That's how every English class was. It's like, we're going to read in class, read silently in class. Okay, you have 10 minutes to read these 12 pages. And I'm like, what? So you're kind of faking it. You're like, people are turning pages, people are turning pages, people are turning pages. And I was like, okay, I don't really, so you start, you kind of fake it. And you get to know how to basically do C-level work in English classes, because you're only getting 70% through everything. And then invariably, teachers would offer extra credit for some dumb something or other. And so anytime any kind of extra credit came up, I did it. So you could score like 95% on 70% of the stuff, and then when you're at home, do the extra credit, turn that in, and it's like, okay, your CC plus then you get an A or a B or B plus, A minus in English, but you didn't really learn shit. So I don't know, but everybody's happy because you're a good student, you're getting good grades, on the other end of it. But that's to say too, the quote bad students, I don't know, it's basically everyone conforms so the teacher can cannot rock any administrative boats and bloody. But either actually gets tracked or unintentionally students get tracked, and the ones that are looked at as slow or bad or whatever, that's comprehensive. I mean, that's is that the right word? Each year, that doesn't get better; it gets worse. And the prima donnas get more prima donna-y. And I had my strategy. I mean, it's like, okay, it's a system. I know what makes people happy. I'll do that, because I think a lot of it too is because I had an older brother, like, that was a year ahead of me, but a year and a half older than me. And he he was like in honors classes, but he didn't care about it. So so like, um, like he could take calculus and trigonometry, and if he wanted to, he could get an A in it, but he didn't care. So he like taking like honors classes and stuff and getting not great grades in it. So it's like, and he has his. I don't know. We're just very different, but our parents raised us or attempted to raise us in the same exact way. Which that's, I guess that's not complaining. That's just like for better and worse. They and my brother and I just reacted to it in totally different ways. And I think a lot of that was because he was older and the first of two, and I was younger than most students, and second of two. So like I just quote learned from his quote mistakes, which is to say I wasn't necessarily learning, but and his mistakes weren't necessarily mistakes, but within the real world, hey, you know. So like one thing, ultimately I think one thing that he and I had in common is neither one of us cared if neither one of us really were about harming. I mean, I definitely wasn't. He wasn't really about harming people and situations and all that. But also, neither one of us really care if you think you and feel like you're doing the right thing and it bothers someone, but it's not harming, but it bothers, then, well, that's their problem. So in other words, neither one of us ever had any problem with stating our own thoughts and opinions and anything like that. But I don't know that I necessarily, I guess I cared, but, or at least it appeared that from my point of view of him and of me, that I considered that like the ramifications of it, whereas he never really did. Like he's taking trigonometry and calculus and he's getting a C, and for me I'm thinking like, wow, I'm not taking trig and calculus, and why is he getting a C? Like he's not even trying. Why didn't he just? And of course all his teachers said he'd never tried. But I was like, why are you? What? And part of that, I mean, ultimately, and while I was taking care of my mom, I mean, she referred to it and even said like that's a parental. That was it was kind of never. Then this comes back to the choice thing. It's like for him, I guess, in that like artist sense in how I'm talking about it, he was wanting to be himself, and the decision for those classes and that track wasn't his decision. That was my parents' decision, because like he tested that way. My mom, like when I was taking care of her in hospice, we talked about that and said she would do that if she could do that over again. She would do it differently. She said she would have demanded that I be put in the honors classes on that track, because I always like I cared about, like I tested well in everything except reading, so that brought my overall, that like disqualified me for being considered for all that shit. But my brother was a super fast reader, and like good at like at basically. I think my mom sort of put it this way, like whatever I did, I scored like in the 90s. And it was just a question of whether there was enough time to actually complete stuff. And my brother completed everything and scored like in the 80s. But it like opened, his paths were more open than mine for the conventional education world. But he never gave a shit about that. He went in the Army right after high school. And that was back in the old GI Bill days. So like we went through like one enlistment of the Army, 3 years, got out and had the full GI Bill. Like he could have like had next to a free ride out of college, and he never used it. I'm like, what are you doing? Even if you don't want to go have fun, do something. It's like just not. Another therapy session for me. This is I don't know. Back to the teacher, art teacher, all that kind of. It just crushes me to see that an art class. And I don't buy this no materials thing. I don't buy this number of students thing. I don't buy this. That's all just pressure the teachers putting on themselves that they're seeing as because the administration, because this and all, that's all required and that's all da-da-da-da-da-da, which to me says, you know, like if that's what, if it's, there's always art materials. And if the class is crowded, then simplify the problem. Yeah, but. Okay, so if there's 10 art students in the class, or 30, it's still an art class. It's like, okay, there's 30 students. This class is probably going to be more rambunctious, which isn't necessarily bad. And if it's too much for the teacher to grade, then limit the assignments, or just say up front to the students that, hey, I want this to be an easygoing class. You're gonna at least work in pairs. Is everybody okay with that? And if there's someone and if 100% of the students are okay with it, then that's a collaborative decision. You haven't foisted that upon them. And if they're not okay with that, well, then you sell it in a better way. Not coerce them, but sell it in a better way. So if you have 15 students, and conventionally you give 15 assignments, there's 15 assignments. Well, what if it's 30 students and we don't have materials? Well, then start seeing things that aren't usually seen as materials, and make a group class decision that it's okay, we're going to at least work in twos. So therefore, it's 15 assignments turned in, if that's what you think you can handle. Heck, if you want to do it, you can like say, you know, there's going to be but the class decides, well, we only want to do every single project as a class, where everyone agrees and inputs, and we, with the teacher, or even if we can convince, if it's okay with some assignments, that we make it up ourselves, we're going to do it as a class, and whatever it is, and turn it in as one assignment, but then it counts for everybody. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. but actually you can. I mean, art classes, how can you give as much control as possible, keeping the context safe, as in not harm, and then relinquish as much power as possible from the teacher's point of view. But of course, you want to, I mean, there are principles that you're teaching and all that, but you can get those principles across faster than you think. Oh my God. Perspective. That's it. Like, this is an example. Art classes notoriously have to teach perspective. So it's usually this 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. This is like this Western world aerial perspective, all these principles and all that. And it was like, so we concentrate on that and we get everything perfect. And it's like, and so that you learned perspective. And so it's like, yeah, but what about what about the rest of the world and the rest of all time history? It's not seen that way. So there was never perspective during that. Meaning, perspective, all it is, it's point of view. That's it, period. So here's perspective class. There are different points of view from person to person, from community to community, society to society, nation to nation. Now and from the past, that's intertwined also. All these different points of view. That's what perspective is. It's point of view. Okay? Here, I'm going to spend 5 minutes and give you the general point of view of the Western world perspective in a visual, as related to visual, tangible stuff. And so you break it down into like this. This is basically what it is. Here, you want to do an example? Here, okay. Let's take a minute and a half and if you want to see if you can actually manifest that on a piece of paper with something, well, let's show you that you can. But we're not taking a week to go over Western perspective and at the exclusion to all other perspectives. And it's not if what you want is that conventional, you go to the library, you get a book on it. It's right there. It's spelled out for you. I don't know. I think it just feels like magic it's easy for teachers, and it feels like magic to students. Like, ooh, wow, that looks real. And it's not real. It's still just something on paper. It's not real. It's about illusion.